Now, live from WPRI 12. This is Eyewitness News, Night Beat.
You are looking at live pictures of Ground Zero in New York, nearing 6 months now after the most tragic terrorist attack on American soil. Good evening, everyone. I'm Danielle North. The CBS Network special Remembering September 11th brought back images that touched the lives of millions around the world. In addition, it poses the question, after 6 months, how has America coped in light of the terror? Right now, you're looking at live pictures of round-the-clock efforts at Ground Zero. As of now, 1.4 tons of rubble has already been hauled out of Ground Zero, and rescue crews estimate there are still 2 to 3 million tons of debris left to be removed from the area. Meantime, firefighters are standing by 24/7 in the event that they may be called to duty at the disaster site. The 6-month anniversary of September 11th is our top story on the Night Beat tonight. Eyewitness News reporter Daisy Oviedo is live at the East Providence Fire Department with reaction to tonight's special program.
This program was especially significant for the firefighters who went to New York and witnessed this devastation with their own eyes, and many of those men work right here at the East Providence Fire Department.
Their facial expressions, and it's just amazing. It's unbelievable.
These East Providence firefighters never really knew how bad it was inside those towers, but now they do.
I think I can get more of a feeling as to what these guys might have been going through. To me, it's interesting to see how these guys are handling the situation, and it's tough knowing that some of them aren't going to come back after this.
They're very calm, and they're very professional. They're the best fire department in the world, and judging by their actions on this video, that apparently seems to be the case.
Watching this documentary, these men see more, hear more, feel more than the average person. They know what those firefighters went through on that September day.
I'm just amazed at how the magnitude of it. I mean, I keep using the same word, but that's the only word I can come up with, how big it was. I mean, we knew that day that it was big, but not that big. I think we all, as firefighters, do a good job, and I don't know if we could compose ourselves in the manner that they do.
These firefighters helped in their own way, but after watching what their comrades went through, they know they have some big boots to fill.
And now, even 6 months after the tragedy, firefighters here at East Providence Fire Department tell us they are still attending funerals for their fallen comrades. We're live in East Providence. Daisy Oviedo, Eyewitness News.
In other news tonight from our East Bay mobile newsroom, Eyewitness News in Warren, cleanup crews are at the scene of a FedEx truck fire right now. Fire officials say that a FedEx employee was working on a truck and left, not realizing that flames had broke out inside. Fire crews were called to the facility and managed to keep the fire from spreading to other trucks nearby. The Warren fire chief says they called in for extra help to investigate.
Because of the nature of the name of the truck, because of the shipping area, and no idea what was inside the trucks because they're supposed to be empty, we alerted the hazmat team of the state to come down.
Oil and diesel fuel spilled out of the truck, so cleanup crews are trying to clean that area at this hour. They want to make sure that none of it gets into a small retention pond nearby. Eyewitness News in Central Falls now, where one man is behind bars in connection with a fatal stabbing. Authorities responded to a fight at Jenks Park in Central Falls. There, they discovered 23-year-old Brian Arujo suffering from stab wounds to the chest. Arujo was taken to Memorial Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police arrested 23-year-old Robert Colazzo and charged him with murder. He will be arraigned in district court this Monday. Police have identified the man killed inside a South Providence apartment this weekend. 38-year-old Dario Valdez was found shot to death inside what neighbors are calling an after-hours drinking parlor. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Moran took the mobile newsroom to Providence and joins us now in the newsroom with the latest.
Neighbors tell us it was just a matter of time before something bad happened inside that apartment, an apartment that has become a nightly gathering for beer-drinking customers.
On the outside, 79 Harriet Street looks like a bar after a busy night. Dozens of empty beer bottles piled up, a vehicle packed with more booze. Neighbors say for more than a month now, drinks have been served here after hours to paying customers.
They were just serving alcohol to anybody and everybody after hours for a price. Lord knows what else went on in there. With what's been going on there, it was just a time bomb, just a matter of time.
It took a murder to close up shop. Yesterday morning, police discovered the body of Dario Valdez. also known as Jose Leon, gunned down in the kitchen. He was about 38. Yesterday, his girlfriend came to the scene looking for answers.
Did he have an ID on him?
Police say the victim was probably a customer of the after-hours bar, an illegal business operating close to a playground and a school.
It's better to keep to yourself sometimes.
Neighbors say police knew about it, but did little.
Police have been to this place before. They responded just recently to reports of a man striking down the apartment door with a baseball bat.
And now the city's 4th homicide this year in a neighborhood where crime is all too common.
Well, I lived here all my life, and I feel not to let anybody run me out of here. Where are you going to go?
At this time, police have no motive or suspects in the shooting. The victim had a listed address in both Providence and Boston. This investigation is ongoing. In the newsroom, Joan Moran, Eyewitness News.
From our South County mobile newsroom tonight, we now know the name of the victim in yesterday's fatal boating accident. 32-year-old Daniel Claybor died after being thrown from a motorboat in Point Judith Pond. A Coast Guard cutter found Claybor lying face down in the water. Officials say that he and a friend took their 13-foot homemade boat to scout for oysters when it apparently flipped at high speed. The other man was able to swim to shore safely. Eyewitness News in Cranston now, where police have released this photo in connection with a jewelry store heist. The suspect, who police describe as a white man between 50 and 55 years old, entered a Stockovitz Diamond Importers on Park Avenue and pretended to look at jewelry before making off with at least $50,000 worth of merchandise. The robber left the store and got into a stolen Jeep Cherokee that was driven by a second man. Anyone with information is asked to contact Cranston Police. Tomorrow begins a new school week, and one local district is now struggling with the loss of 5 school buses. Eyewitness News in Taunton, where this is all that's left after a fire swept through a bus parking lot. A small controlled brush fire was left unattended and then spread to the next lot, destroying 5 buses there. That's where H&L Bloom keeps its entire fleet. The school superintendent tells us, though, that the buses will be running as scheduled on Monday. Right now, firefighters are investigating a house fire in Pawtucket. Flames broke out in the basement of this home on East Street this afternoon. No one was injured and still no official cause of that fire tonight. Problems continue to plague the Catholic Church tonight. Protesters once again are calling for Cardinal Law's resignation.
It's too damn much.
Dozens of people gathered outside Boston's World Trade Center on Saturday. That's where the Cardinal was attending the annual Catholic Church's convocation. The group is angry that the Cardinal didn't turn a priest into police, even though he knew that he was a child molester. During the convocation, he did answer some questions about the scandal.
By saying, I don't have the answers for you today for all of the things that I have heard. But I think if I were to tell you that I did, you would have the reason to turn your back on me.
So far, Cardinal Law has refused to step down from his position. Family, friends, and patients gathered today to remember a prominent New Bedford doctor. Services were held for Dr. Alvin Perez Aquino at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. The 36-year-old was killed during a robbery in the Dominican Republic while he was visiting family. Those who knew him say the doctor was a brilliant man with a gentle heart. He treated more than 400 patients throughout entire southern New England. Tonight, as American strikes continue in Afghanistan, here at home, family and friends gathered in New Mexico to say goodbye to one of 7 American servicemen killed while battling al-Qaeda and Taliban forces. Jason Cunningham served at Moody Air Force Base in Georgia before the draft. The New Mexico National Guard was on hand to present his family with a U.S. flag. Meantime, overseas, the biggest land battle of the Afghan war entered its 9th day. U.S.-led forces have resumed bombing and ground attacks to keep al-Qaeda rebels trapped in caves in eastern Afghanistan. The U.S. military says 8 U.S. troops and 7 Afghan soldiers have died in Operation Anaconda, with about 100 wounded in a push to wipe out the core of Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda forces.
Now, meteorologist Jim Corbin with your Eyewitness News Pinpoint First forecast.
So we were awakened late last night by the wind, maybe the rain. It was a souster. Strong southerly winds for a few hours, about ½ an inch of rain. But look what's happened since then. I want to show you the temperatures around the area this evening because we are way down there. Some places are in the 20s and low 30s compared to the high which was early this morning. 61 at the Anchor Subaru in North Smithfield. It's down to 27 right now. 56 early this morning at the Coast Guard House in Narragansett. It's down to 29 right now. Check out the satellite radar composite, and you can see we actually do have a few snow flurries around parts of New England, but those are the exception and not the rule. It's mainly the cold, dry air moving in, and overall the rest of the night is just going to chill down. We'll call it 21 degrees around 4 o'clock this morning. What about tomorrow and the beginning of the work week? I'll have a lot more, including the Pinpoint 7-Day Futurecast, coming up in just a few minutes.
Also coming up on Eyewitness News, Night Beat tonight, protesters take French liberty to new highs, marking a special anniversary. We'll have details straight ahead. Also in this half hour, his was one of the signatures that led the way to a historic turn towards independence. More on this story, not to be forgotten, when we return.
You're watching Eyewitness News Night Beat. Coverage you can count on.
With the CVS Extra Care card, it's not just about saving money on like 4,700 diapers. It's earning CVS money. It's not just another rewards program. It's a way to earn your favorite stuff free. The CVS Extra Care card. It's not just a piece of plastic. It's recognition of the fact that someone should pay you for a change. Every mom knows the difference, and so does one pharmacy. CVS Pharmacy, helping you make a difference.
Oh, what a dream. What a concept. Bernie's Bedding. Bernie sells bedding. I know. It's got to be something really spectacular. How about a $3.99 pillow top queen-size mattress and box spring with a free frame, 7-day-a-week free delivery, free removal of your old bed. Oh, that's incredible. Bernie's sells bedding. What a concept. Oh.
Puzzled about furniture? Fill in the pieces at the Furniture Warehouse. Shop now and save during our $8.99 sale.
$8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99.
At the Furniture Warehouse, we guarantee the lowest prices on our entire inventory. The Furniture Warehouse, Pawtucket, Roxbury, and on Route 2 in Warwick.
Tomorrow on Eyewitness News Night Beat at 11.
They're called the Moving Men, and they claim to help you move furniture easily. Just place each one under each corner, and the furniture will glide across the carpet like skis on snow.
But does it work? Find out tomorrow on Eyewitness News Night Beat at 11. Coverage you can count on. Only Eyewitness News has merged all its news-gathering capabilities and put them on the road in exclusive Eyewitness News mobile newsrooms. Coverage you can count on. Eyewitness News on WPRI 12 continues.
Some potential ceasefire talks in the Middle East, and the French are scaling for justice. Those are just two headlines as Eyewitness News gives you the world in a minute tonight. In the midst of the worst violence the Middle East has seen in more than 17 months, Israel says it wants to discuss a ceasefire. Israel's prime minister says that he is prepared to end Yasser Arafat's confinement and talk with Palestinians about a truce. This just one day after Israeli forces pounded Arafat's Gaza Strip office to rubble. Vice President Dick Cheney is in London tonight, kicking off a 10-day trip to Europe and the Middle East. During this trip, Cheney will discuss the progress on the war on terror. Cheney also hopes to rally Arab leaders to support the president's war effort and to condemn Iraq's building of weapons of mass destruction. Tomorrow, he'll join British Prime Minister Tony Blair to mark the 6-month anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Protesters in Paris have proved that actions speak louder than words today. 47 climbers from all over France scaled the Eiffel Tower to protest the Chinese occupation of Tibet. Today's climb marked the anniversary of Tibet's resistance against Chinese occupation in 1959. The French climbers were part of the organization called Free Tibet. And that wraps up your look at the world in a minute. Coming up on Eyewitness News, he was governor of Rhode Island 10 times. But that's just one reason why Stephen Hopkins is a man that is not to be forgotten. The story coming up.
I'm meteorologist Jim Corbett in the Pinpoint Forecast Center. Is there rain or maybe snow on the way? My full 7-day futurecast coming up on Eyewitness News.
Call 401-438-3310. When you see breaking news, the station you can count on to be there live. Eyewitness News. Coverage you can count on.
Introducing the new Sonata from Hyundai. Redesigned with V6 power, room for 5, and the freedom of America's best warranty plan.
Daddy, look what I got at school today.
That's great.
Gonna put on your new car, Daddy?
Let's go put it on Mommy's car.
The new Sonata. There's not another thing it needs.
As part of our commitment to the Southern New England community, closed captioning on Eyewitness News is brought into your home by Albert's Furniture Showplace. Closed captioning provides important news and information to everyone and is made possible by Albert's Furniture Showplace. Always serving our community. You can make a call that will get results. Contact Eyewitness News Call for Action problem solvers with your consumer complaints. Call or log on. We'll investigate.
They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. They all laughed when Edison recalled.
So who is Motor Trend's 2002 Sport Utility of the Year? The GMC Envoy. Those who say America can't compete don't take test drives. We are professional grade.
Whoa, who's got the last laugh now?
Welcome back, everyone. He was Rhode Island governor 10 times and actually signed the Declaration of Independence. Stephen Hopkins was one of Rhode Island's most distinguished citizens, and now even his home is open for everyone to see. Eyewitness News reporter Glenn Laxton has a story of a man not to be forgotten.
His signature is shaky because of a paralytic condition that forced him to use his left hand to push his right hand when writing. But his spirit was strong, and he was one of the 2 delegates from Rhode Island to affix his name on the Declaration of Independence, the other being Newport attorney William Ellery. Stephen Hopkins was born in Scituate when it was still part of Providence, and he made his home here on Benefit Street for more than 40 years. He was a Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court, and when the State House was here on Benefit Street, he was elected governor 10 times. He was also the first chancellor of Brown University and owned the Manning Chair, used every commencement to this day by the university president. But why was Stephen Hopkins sent to the Continental Congress and chosen to sign the Declaration of Independence?
Because he was knowledgeable in the area and was a believer in local autonomy, I think that that coupled with the fact that he was a leading spokesman in Rhode Island at the time is probably one of the, at least 1 or 2 of the reasons why he was selected to be one of the signers.
When Thomas Jefferson and other founding fathers penned the document declaring the colonies free and independent of Britain, Hopkins signed his name along with 55 others. He said, "My hand trembles, but my heart does not." The Stephen Hopkins House is open to the public from April to December with period furniture and looking much like it did when he lived there, run today by the colonial dames.
He was very civic-minded and also quite learned. He read Greek and Latin, English poetry.
And yes, George Washington actually slept here.
He was here twice. Yes, he came at the evacuation of Boston, and he stayed here. But at that time, Hopkins was not here. He and Mrs. Hopkins were down in Philadelphia at the Continental Congress, and his daughter-in-law, Ruth, was the hostess.
Stephen Hopkins died on July 13, 1785, and was buried here at the North Burial Ground. But he wasn't the only well-known member of his family. His brother Isak, a wealthy businessman, even had a school named for him on Charles Street in Providence. Stephen Hopkins, whose shaky hand and strong spirit will forever be seen on perhaps the most important document in this country, is a man not to be forgotten. Glenn Laxton, Eyewitness News.
Now with Southern New England's most accurate forecast, Eyewitness News Pinpoint Weather with meteorologist Jim Corbin.
Did the weather wake you up early this morning? For the second weekend in a row, we had a souster. Strong southerly winds, some heavy rain. Didn't last long, but when it came down pretty good. Many areas had over a half an inch, and that dents the drought just a little bit. But once again, it was rain and not snow. And those of you that are snow lovers have probably absolutely hated this winter. If you're a snow lover, we've only had officially at TF Green just under 8 inches of snow for the entire season so far. Of course, it's not over yet. This will go down as the least snowiest ever if it doesn't snow again, or if we don't get to 10.9 inches. Back in 1988 and 89, we had 11.3 back in 72, 73. But you know what? I kind of have the feeling we're going to get something big before the month of March is over with. Usually that happens in a dud season.